Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Tran, and once again today we actually have a special video. Besides being a doctor, one of my passions is I love to travel. But for 12 years when I first practiced, I locked in this office 6 days a week, 12 days. For 12 years I didn't get to see my dad, I didn't go see anywhere. So the last few years I was fortunate to get the opportunity to travel quite a few places in the world, and I love watching those travel videos. But I realized not all travel videos are helpful in some way, and I wish I had some more insight before I get to certain place. But at the same time, some other ones are very helpful. So I just want to share with you guys, beside the fact that I'm talking about health all the time, I talk about, minimize stress, live your life, but hopefully I can preach what I teach. So this way I also show you guys, beside working hard, you can also play hard. And there's so much to see in the world. And sometimes when you travel more, you don't realize how fortunate you are. All right, so one of the highlights of this year for me traveling was the mission to Vietnam with Hope for Tomorrow. So Hope for Tomorrow is an organization that comprises of mostly dentists. And I started my first mission in 2019. So it's not only in Vietnam, it's in some other country, but the first one I went was in Vietnam. So this past summer, in July, we went back to Vietnam. So we traveled to a small village. And our focus is on the needed. So most of the people we see are, even in Vietnam, was the minority. So this past summer, we have about 80 volunteers. We have 8 dentists, 2 doctors, 4 pharmacists, and me. So, but first time I went to the trip in 2019, I didn't think I was much any help. But when I went there, I realized they really needed me. Because imagine this, your dentist here, he might see 10, 20 patients a day with proper equipment. Over there, we're seeing 250 patients a day with 8 dentists. And then they don't have any proper equipment. So we have this portable unit that $250 you can buy one, and that they call the water pump, use the water pump for the dental work. And there was, the patient would sit on this loud chair, and then we'll do like this, 100, 200 a day. So their back, their neck, their shoulder, it was really, really a lot of intensive work. And it was 95-degree Fahrenheit with 100% humidity in Asia. So it's really hard work, and we usually start we get on the bus at 7:15, we get to the work site around 8:30, and we work until 4. So it's quite a long day of work, and it's continuous, and we do that for 3-4 straight days, and then we relocate to another city and do that. And so in the past trip, we were able to help 2,500 patients, and majority of them are children. And then so we have the part where the dentists do the work, and then we actually have the doctor to help with some patient. We give out medicines, and then we even have optometry where we give out glasses and measure the eyesight. And for me, my job is to take care of the team. So I treat the back, I treat the shoulder, but it's a lot of hard work. But at the end of the day, it was amazing. I have to give a lot of credit to the volunteer, because we have almost 80 people in the group, and beside the doctor, more than half of them are a student. Some of them medical students, some of them dental students, some of them are just young students, ranging somewhere between, I think, 13 to all the way to like 25. And they work nonstop, they don't complain, they always have a smile. So really, it's really amazing feeling. And also, I love doing this mission because it reminds me of why I became a doctor. I mean, here we have to make a living, we have to earn work, but over there it's 100% giving, and people are much more appreciative, because they have absolutely nothing. Like many of the children we have, they didn't have shoe. Some of them don't speak Vietnamese because they're a minority. They grew up in a village where they don't have enough money to go to school. So it's quite amazing to be able to go there, see those people, and help them. And it make me have a lot more appreciation to what I have. And actually, one of the the volunteer in the mission, he's 15 years old, and his mom told me that over here he was spoiled, he was selfish and all that, and she doesn't know how to help to change him. But at the end of the mission, he wrote his mom and said, "Mom, I'm a changed man." So it's quite impressive when you have to go through and see all these children suffer, and you can make a change. I mean, it's a tiny little change, but still, you make a difference. So that's the highlight of this trip. And Hope for Tomorrow, every year we try to do some fundraising because 100% of the donation goes straight to the mission. All the doctor, we have to spend every expenses out our pocket. So, if any one of you interested in donation for Hope for Tomorrow, you can look it up. I can put the link under on our YouTube channel, so you can take a look at it, and then we'll probably put up some video and some pictures. All right, so one of my favorite places to travel this year was Japan. It's my second time in Japan in the past 4 or 5 years, but to me, Japan is all amazing. There's so much culture to see, but also there's technology. So you get both, like a lot of the antique, a lot of the tradition, the samurai spirit. When you go to Japan, you feel really safe, just because the culture, the respectful, and as a tourist, there's no place better to travel than Japan if you're a first-time traveler. Because one of my patients, her 19-year-old daughter, freshman from college, she went there with her friend, just 2 young women go there for 2 weeks, and they love it. And they say that's how safe it is. And then travel to Japan, I mean, you need to have at least a week or 2, because one of the hardest things that you have to deal with is jet lag, because they almost 2 hours different from US, from here, East Coast time. So the first few days, it takes time to get used to the time. And then traveling in Japan is very convenient. Everywhere we go, there's the metro access everywhere. But and the Google Map is extremely helpful. When you punch in something, they tell you exactly where to go, how to go, and what train to take. However, there's something that you should pay attention when and then you'll see the difference in Japan is everybody's very respectful of the surrounding. You barely find any trash cans around. Even if you buy street food, you're not supposed to eat on the street. There's no walking and eating at the same time. That's one thing that you have to be mindful of. And then nobody talk on the train. The only people who talk on the train are usually tourists. Everyone's on the phone. They have the headset on, they use the phone, but very quiet, very respectful. You can see this if you go to big Shibuya intersections. There's like thousands of people, just like New York City, but it's very quiet. So the culture is quite different. And then a lot of Japanese people do not speak English. So if you have to ask for directions, that's another problem that I run into. They're very helpful. However, since some of them don't speak English, it's very hard for them to communicate with us. Just like I went to this coffee shop and I asked for directions, they actually called the cab for me. So that's how helpful Japanese people are. That's why you feel very welcoming. But at the same time, if the street address is in English or in Latin, then if you go to give a Japanese taxi driver, he had no idea. So you have to translate the English part into Japanese so that they can read. I've been to Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and Kyoto is one of my favorite places because you get both modern and ancient at the same time. There's a lot of temple, but then there's a lot of modern cities, metropolitan, and all that. Japanese food is I love ramen, I love sushi, and one thing that really make everybody love Japan is because anything they do, whether you go to a restaurant where it's a local or a street food, or you go to a fancy restaurant, they do the best they can. So you never have to worry about, okay, the food tastes better here, it's not good here. There's no such thing. They don't rip you off. And let's say if you're a tourist, you go to a temple, you buy some gift, or you go to a gift shop, you go to the supermarket, the price are the same. And that's why I think it's very safe and a lot of fun to go to Japan. And then if you like shopping, I mean, there are a lot of, I was amazed because the last time I went, I didn't realize you discovered the secondhand. If you like brand name, you like high-end stuff, they actually have many stores that specialize in selling secondhand product. And at the same time, because of the trust that they have over there, you don't have to worry about buying fake stuff. You know, one of the things about worrying about buying secondhand, you don't know if it's real or not. But with Japan, you know, most of the time, I think it's just authentic. Let's put it that way. And like I said before, I love to travel because I feel like every single place I travel, I learn so much. They teach me a lot of things. And one thing, a few things I learned from the Japan travel is Japanese people are highly disciplined. They're very respectful. So that's their strength. That's why when you go there, they're very honest. Everything they do the best they could. And that's why the food quality is really good. And that's I think a lot of people don't realize one of the most expensive thing in Japan, maybe besides Kobe beef, is a lot of fruit and vegetables are quite expensive because the quality of it. You know, for example, we talk about persimmons. I have a few planted persimmons at home, but in Japan, when they grow persimmons, you know, when the persimmons start growing, they will actually only keep one persimmon per branch or something like that, so that all the good stuff actually go to. They pick all the rest of them off, so they allow a lot of nutrient go to one single fruit. And same thing with melons, and that's why they're expensive. But you pay for what you get. In a way, it's saying like if everything you do the best of your ability, you'll be successful, right? But on the other hand, I feel like they are good in sacrifice, like the samurai spirit, that a lot of times they put everyone else above themselves. They seem to neglect their own well-being mentally. Because just like, you know, we as human, we have emotion, we have anger, we have joy, but if you only suppress your feeling and pretend it's, you know, nothing wrong, it can lead to disaster. And so I think, you know, as a human being, we're supposed to learn how to control emotion, but all, at the same time, you have to find a way to sometimes to let it out, so that, you know, it doesn't eat us inside out. Because that's the scary thing about emotional, mental, is if we keep suppress something long enough, it will explode. So that's the thing. One thing that I think is fascinating to me about the Japanese culture. So the other place that I really love this past 2 months of traveling was, we were in Peru. We went to Machu Picchu, and most of you might have heard of it. It's amazing. There's only two, one in Peru and I think the other one was in Mexico. But anyway, so we went there. The trip was amazing. We were only there for 5 days, but I wish we stayed a little more time. But I think one thing I noticed, I think South America, like Peru and some other place, is underrated. Everybody want to go to Europe, everyone in Paris want to go to Italy, but Peru is amazing. It's a lot cheaper, it's closer, and the food is amazing. The people is very nice, very genuine, and the same thing when you go shopping, when you buy stuff, you know, they don't jack the price too much. And but the food, it's similar to Japanese culture in a way. Is whether you go to a fancy restaurant or you go to a regular restaurant, they make the best of their ability. The display is amazing, the food tastes awesome. My children love it, I love it, the ceviche, and everything is fresh. And that's the other thing when we talk about health, is one thing in America, it's hard to get fresh food. You know, whether it's fish, whether it's seafood, whether it's beef or pork, most of the meat are frozen here. But over there, almost everything is cut fresh daily. And that's why you go over there, the taste is very different. and then the fruit and vegetable are fresh as well. So you absorb, you taste a lot of ingredient. And the weather is quite nice. We were there. It's a little chilly, but it's very, very nice. And we actually, so I was in Cusco and Lima. So when we were in Lima, we didn't rent a car, but when we were in Cusco, we actually rent a car. So the car rental is actually affordable. However, you have to be careful because you have to make sure you can drive stick shift or manual. And they drive a little crazy like New York, right? So, you have to kind of adapt to the culture. If you're not a very good driver, I wouldn't recommend renting a car there. One more thing, if you go to Machu Picchu, make sure you go online and book everything in advance. And they're actually quite friendly and easy when you book to this trip. Is they have agent that tell you, they actually pick you up. So for example, you have to go to Machu Picchu from Lima, we fly over to Cusco. We stay a night at Cusco. But don't just focus on the Machu Picchu itself. The city itself has so much to offer. However, when you go to Cusco, its elevation is 11,000 feet. So you definitely need some altitude sickness medicines. And then give yourself some time to adapt to it. Because all my children was not feeling well the night for the first night. And they have a lot of hill, the up and down hill. So take your time, walk slowly. And then if you have to go to Cusco, and from Cusco you have to take the train and actually you have to take the taxi to the hotel in the city. Make sure you get the phone number of the taxi driver so that you can contact him to pick you up back to the airport. Because when we go there from the airport, we only pay, I think, 40 some money, peso, I forgot the currency. But when you come back, we actually call from the hotel, it's charged almost like 3 or 4 times. So make sure you get the contact number of the guy, because as soon as you get off the airport, they have a ton of taxi right there, and they ask you if you want to do the day tour and all like that. But if you should get the phone number of those taxi drivers. So when you get back from the back to the airport, you can have them. You can contact them. So culturally, same thing. I feel like the people in Peru work hard. They're honest. Food is great. But yeah, I highly recommend book tour, travel there. It's very affordable. Food is amazing. Like I said, once again, most of the restaurant we go to, we just love the food, enjoy the food. Because the price, it looked like, if over here, probably look like you can easily spend $200 for dinner. Over there, we have 8 people and the bill is maybe like $150, $200. So yeah, so Peru is a good place to try out if you first start going to South America. Oh, and then one more thing about if you travel to Peru, make sure you learn some Spanish. At least, like the number, money, currency, so when you buy stuff, you can actually communicate with them. If not, you definitely need Google Translate. Because I have having a little trouble, trying to buy stuff, because a lot of the stuff that they have almost in a street market type is pretty affordable and local make. Like I had a hat and something like that, but you have to be able to communicate with them the number so you know how to get the price correctly. All right, so the other thing is after the mission trip, I actually came back to Vietnam the second time in October for a trip, and this time is mostly personal. I got to travel to some of the places which I've never been in my life, and it was amazing. I mean, I feel like I'm in Maldives of Vietnam. The water is amazing, the sand, the oceans. And I'm from Vietnam, so I'm not saying this because I'm from there, but I'm saying this because I've been to Vietnam 3 times this year. And the more I travel, the more it's amazed me. I didn't realize there's so many beautiful places in Vietnam. And not only that, because of after COVID, China was locked down for quite some time. So a lot of business actually go to Vietnam and then open a factory there. So the Vietnam economy is one of the fastest growing economy right now. So there are a lot of infrastructures improving. The road was a lot smoother, a lot easier to travel. So for those of you who had never been to the part of Asia, I think Vietnam is a great place to go, because almost you can find anyone that speak a little bit English, like taxi driver, Grab driver, even people at the shop. So for me, I feel like if you're English speaker, you go to Vietnam, you don't have to worry too much about communication. It's much easier than Peru and Japan and Korea for that matter. Because in Vietnam, if you put in an address, it's written in, it's similar to Latin anyway. So highly recommend Vietnam. If you love nature, the beach, central to the north, amazing. There's so many places that just only been opened up for tourists within the past couple of years, or even 5 or 10 years. Which before it was very hard to get there because the road was not good, so it's much harder to accessible. But now it's much easier. Rent a 16 passenger van that convert into a 9 passenger, they call it limousine. And for $3,000, you can rent that car with the driver for 21 days, go from the north to the south. I mean, you can't get any cheaper than that, right? And the driver actually with you the entire time. So something like so travel to Vietnam, I think the most expensive is actually the ticket. It's like 20 from door to door up to 30-hour, flight time. But after that, you can find a nice motel for less than $10 a night. But at the same time, you can find an expensive resort for $1,000 or $5,000 a night. And that's why Vietnam there's such a wide variety of travel, of whatever you like to spend. Expensive, cheap. Same thing, the food is amazing. The price is very reasonable. $100 is only almost 2.4 million Vietnamese money. So there's a dollar over there worth quite a lot. And now you can almost fly everywhere in Vietnam as well. Now the one thing is I see difference in Japan, Vietnam, and Peru is there's a problem with some tourist trap in Vietnam though, because you can be ripped off. So Vietnam is a great place to travel, to eat and all, but instead of shopping, some place you do have to be careful, because that's one thing that I'm not too proud of. Shopping in Vietnam is not fun, because you don't know. Even for me, I go there, I get ripped up too. They always jack the price up. So it's a great place to travel, it's a place to explore the food, the motels, the resort. But shopping is a different story. But definitely the scenery is amazing. And the best time to travel, if you don't have children, is after Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving before Christmas. The ticket is cheap, the weather is nice, and it's not too busy. So hopefully, this would give you guys some insight into Vietnam travel. Highly recommend it, especially if you've never been anywhere to Asia. It's a very different culture. You learn a different, value over there. You see a lot of things, and don't be afraid to travel. Don't be afraid to explore. And I notice it's a lot safer now to travel to some of the Asia country than other places. The other thing that I think it was amazing was during my birthday this year, my wife surprised me with a trip to the Wave. So for those of you who never heard of the Wave, is a beautiful hiking in Arizona and Utah. And I'm from East Coast, so we see a lot of tree, a lot of green. So for many years, I have friends who live in Arizona, and they keep asking me, hey, why don't you come out here? And I was like, what's there to do? I'm thinking, just desert and mountain. But I was dead wrong. It was a 4-day trip. I flew into Vegas. We rent an SUV, and then we drive 4 hours to Page in Arizona, and it was amazing. It doesn't cost a lot of money, because if you can't afford flying, then you can actually drive. But there's so much to see. The beauty is very different. So for those of you who, like me, never been out there in the nature to Grand Canyon, I highly recommend it. However, I would only recommend you go in the fall. Maybe after September to December, because in the summer the heat, I think, is way too much for us to hike, because there's no place for you to hike. So we started, let's say the wave in Arizona, we started at like 7 in the morning, and it was 36 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we hiked all the way in the wave. We get lost a few times, and we came back out about 1:30, 2 o'clock. The experience is amazing. You went up there, it's so beautiful. You immerse in nature. I can't imagine. Like, I try to take as much video and camera and photo as I can, but you can't really capture the vastness and the beauty of it. And it's very relaxed and tranquil, and you realize how small we are, with the vastness of this. But definitely need to be physically fit, because it does take. We actually was there for 6 hours, but the hike the whole total height was 34,000 steps and about 2,000 calories. But to put that in its perspective, you're walking on the sand for over an hour to get to the rock, and then a lot of rock, you climb up and down. So make sure you drink a lot of water, have the right equipment. I didn't have the right gear. I just wear my running shoes, and the sand got in it, and every 20, 30 minutes I have to take my shoes off and dump out the sand. So you definitely have the right gear. You make sure you have the hiking shoe that waterproof. Make sure you have hat and thin clothes, and definitely pack with water and snack. Definitely need to run, because you don't realize, after all that height, you get hungry quickly. So definitely get to be prepared for it. But I think it's a great way to travel without a lot of money. And there's quite a few free hikes that you can go. We went onto the lower Antelope, which you have to pay for it. But the same thing. It's underground. It's amazing. It's nice and cool. You could take thousands of pictures. You still never stop, getting bored of the scenery. And then so we definitely want to come back every year. But fitness, hat, proper clothing, proper shoe, and look on Google. That's one thing about it right now. There's a ton of free hike around there. Because we have like half a day, and we weren't sure what to do, so I looked it up, and they're called Hanging Garden. Right? We go in there, and same thing. It was very beautiful. It was really nice, and it's 100% free. Just park there, and then you walk in. But definitely need a group of, at least two or three or four, so you enjoy the view more. But yeah, don't go there. Make sure you get out before dark. Yeah. So Arizona, U.S. I think that there's so many places that we have not been explored, and I definitely want to come back and do the hiking every year, because it's a different feeling when you climb up there. When I first climbed up to the first mountain, it was kind of scary, because it was like, what if somebody falls? But then at the end of the hike, I was all the way up top. I don't know how many feet up high, and I walked down, straight down on a 45-degree slope without any fear. Just because I get more comfortable with the height, and I get used to using my shoe and my feet, and know where's appropriate place to go. But highly recommend it. Now, the thing about the wave, you have to have lottery, so it's not easy. You get lucky, you get the first try, but some people I heard that took 4 or 5 years to try to get it. But it doesn't cost much. I think like less than $20 to register. But even if you don't get the wave, there's so many underplay around it that you should definitely explore. So definitely get Arizona. And that's why I heard it's one of the very popular place for people to retire there. So give it some time to check it out, and hopefully you guys can have fun and enjoy. So basically that's wrap up the trip of this year, and I keep telling my patients about how much fun is travel, but I know that we live in this society where everything's in front of you, meaning you can go on YouTube and next thing you know you have Paris, Italy, and Greek, and all this is right in front of your screen. But trust me, seeing it and being there are completely different. And just because traveling doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, we all have time off, right? Just save up and plan ahead of time. It's not as expensive as you think. And the thrill of explore and learn new things also give your different perspective. When you travel, it not only keep brought your knowledge of the world, but also make you appreciate your existence much better, and it open up your sense of belonging. The world is getting smaller now because I can be here and then tomorrow I can be on the other side of the world. The flight and all is fast and easy, and time go by fast. So have fun, enjoy. And I think most of us have a sense of, we have fantasy that we will travel here and there, and sometimes because of children, because of family, because of work, we put them up and we forgot about them. So do you ever have fantasized to travel to another part of the world, or have you ever fantasized to, explore this and that? Now it's time to do it. And don't wait until you retire. Because some place I went, I can guarantee you, if you don't have the strength, you don't have the stamina, it's not fun. Imagine, like if you go to Thailand and everywhere you go, you walk like 20 kilometers a day, 10 miles to 15 miles a day, and you don't have your strength, your knee hurt, your shoulder hurt, your back hurt. It's not fun. So do it now. Fun is your entire life. It's a little bit of every state of life. You can have fun. You can have fun. You're 30, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. But you can't just wait until, okay, let me retire, then I travel. Hey, who guarantee you we're gonna live, until tomorrow, until 10 years from now, or 20 years from now? Do you remember when last time you actually had fun? And fun, I mean, because sometimes I want to hang out with my children and I take them here and there. That's fun, but that's different kind of fun. That's family fun. But sometimes travel with kids can be very tiring, right? Because you have to cater to everybody. But for your own self, did you actually have fun? And you don't always have to travel with children as well. We have family, we have children, but sometimes just a couple, just the two of you, because you have different hats to wear. Besides being a dad, being a family man, you're also being a boyfriend or a lover, right? One at a time. So to keep your relationship healthy, we have to tend to it as well. So sometimes put the dad's head down, maybe put the hat up of the husband on, and or the wife, you be a mom, but also being a wife. So don't forget to have fun and go back to yourself and say, okay, what do I do for fun? And don't lie to yourself either, because sometimes we try, we have fun. Fun meaning you don't have to think about anything. You just laugh like nonstop, like nobody's watching. Dance like nobody's watching. To sing song like in the shower. So try to have fun, but at the same time, explore the world. Because sometimes we sit in a small bubble where we feel like our life is so stressed out. We have so much to worry about. We have so much to care about, and we're so miserable. But sometimes when you travel to the other side of the country, the side of the world, the fact that we live in the US, we are better than maybe 90% of the rest of the world. So when you see all the things that I see, it will make you appreciate what you have a lot more. And it makes the world a lot more fun. And it's also allow us to empathize with other people better. Because sometimes we just sit there and watch TV or social media. You only see the world through someone else's view, someone else's lens. You want to see it with your own eyes. And then you have the ability to make your own judgment about the world. So hopefully in 2024, you're gonna have more chance to travel and explore the world. And if you're interested in some place that you like to hear more about, put me a note, send me a note. And if I've been there, I'll give you some feedback. If not, I'll put it on my list. And wish everybody a wonderful, healthy 2024 with plenty of travel and fun.